Ambassador Taranjit Singh Sandhu, welcome to India today and thank you so much for your time. It's a massively busy time for you, so I can quite imagine how rushed you are. Appreciate you making time for us.
Thank you, Rahul, and I of course remember you very much from 2014 visit outside Mahatma Gandhi's monument, just outside the embassy, and you were doing a live show then.
Oh, great, fantastic, and we're looking forward to seeing you in DC very soon. I want to start by asking you, Ambassador Sandhu, about the significance of this visit, and your point of view is important because you've seen past visits as well. You've been involved very closely in organizing Prime Minister Narendra Modi's previous visits to Washington and New York. As somebody who's been on the inside, what's your sense of how and why this visit is special, and why is it different from the previous times that Prime Minister Modi has been in the United States?
So Rahul, you are absolutely right. Prime Minister has visited the United States on multiple times in the past 9 years, and each visit has been special. As you have seen, the character and the depth of every visit has had a special aspect. But this indeed stands out. It is historic, and it's historic in many ways, and I'm not just using the expression just to utilize it, but it's a state visit, and state visit is an highest expression of friendly relations between any two countries, and especially in the United States, it's not common, and it's indeed an honor for India and for our Prime Minister. And Prime Minister Modi is only the third Indian leader to have been invited for a state visit since last 75 years, meaning since our independence. And in fact, when he addresses the US Congress for the second time, he will become the only Indian leader so far to address the US Congress twice, besides leading iconic figures like Nelson Mandela, Winston Churchill, just a very few of them. So this visit indeed is significant, ceremonial-wise, as well as in substantial outcomes.
You've been speaking to many senior officials in the Biden administration, and President Biden, since he came to power, hasn't done too many state visits. This is only the third: the South Korean President, Vladimir Zelensky, and then the Prime Minister of India. So the significance of the state visit, not just in a 75-year context, but in the context of the Biden administration, and what's your sense of why the government in Washington DC at this moment seems to be laying out the red carpet for Prime Minister Modi and for India?
Rahul, I think the message is loud and clear. United States and India are taking the partnership to a higher orbit. I think the visit is an escalation of our partnership, and it actually is going to transform. We have had a relationship with the United States, especially since the late 90s, but broadly it has been a kind of a buyer-seller market. But this time it's going to go in a different level of partnership, and I'm sure I'll get an opportunity to come to that. But in this aspect, especially in the last 2 years, if you have seen the engagements between President Biden and Prime Minister Modi, it's there to see for everyone. However, I must add here that President Biden, when he was a senator, way back in 90s, in fact, had laid his bet on India, if I may use the American terminology. And none other than Secretary of State Blinken confirmed it just a few days back, because Blinken was his staffer on the Hill at that time. And that has continued. If you take a look, when Prime Minister Modi came in 2014, and you will recall at that time, Vice President Biden had hosted a lunch for him. In 2016, he participated, he in fact presided over the joint session of US Congress. So, in a sense, this has been an escalation, but just look at this just last 1 month. You have had Defense Secretary Austin in Delhi, you have had National Security Advisor Sullivan there, you have seen Foreign Secretary Quatra here. There have been tangible outcomes, and that's why when I told you that on the substantive part, look at the ISET launch. You know, technology is becoming the key, and technology is only shared if you have confidence and trust between two countries. That's why when I said the level is reaching much higher.